Okay, folks. Are you ready? Do you have your? Are you sitting in your straight back chair position? Okay, let's do it.
Now, become conscious of your right hand. By the way, close your eyes. Now, your right hand dangling by your side. Now become conscious of your right hand. Sort of notice it. Become aware of it. Just be aware that it's there. And I call this bringing attention to your hand, being aware of your hand, being conscious of your hand. Now don't concentrate on it, just notice. Just notice it. Don't struggle, don't force your attention. That would make what we are doing hypnotic. Just notice it gently. Now if you do that, with your eyes closed, just notice your hand. You'll notice that also that there are forces in your mind, thoughts that keep trying to pull you away. Just notice the thought that tries to pull you away from being conscious of your hand. And as you notice the thought, it ceases to be a dream. See, if you're caught up in a dream, if you're caught up in the thought, if you're not being aware of your hand, you're caught up in that thought, and it becomes like a daydream. And then you're not aware of your hand. So when you're caught up in a dream, you'll notice you're not being aware of your hand. It gets in the way of the purpose. It tries to pull you away from giving your attention to your hand, or anything for that matter. So, be aware of your hand. Notice the thought that tries to get between you and this purpose. Watch the thoughts through the middle of your forehead, as though, notice what I said, as though you were looking through the middle of your forehead. Notice the thought that fascinates you, no matter what it is. What you're going to say to so-and-so. If he says that to you, I'll say that to him. Whatever the thought is, planning, worrying, about the children, doesn't matter, business. Just watch the thought that tries to pull on you. It pulls you away from being aware of your hand. Please be aware of your hand. Your life depends on this, on doing this properly. Your future. You've got to learn to give your attention. Do you see what's wrong now, how your mind is spinning? How it pulls on you and won't let you be free to observe, to see things as they are? Be aware of your hand then. And now, every time you bring your attention back to your hand, you'll notice something interesting. Your hand starts to tingle gently. Now this is not imagination, nor am I asking you to imagine your hand tingling. What I'm asking you to do is just keep giving attention to your hand by simply disengaging it, disengaging your attention from your dream state, from your daydreaming, from your worrying, and bringing it back to your hand. And as you do this, you're actually coming back to the present moment. You're not living in the past and the future. You're snapping little strings. Every time you bring your hand, don't worry if your mind wanders off. If your mind wanders off, notice the hand. If your mind wanders off again, bring your attention back to your hand again. And every time you do that, you'll notice the hand will start to glow warm. There is a psychological, spiritual reason for this, but keep doing it. I'm not asking you to use your imagination. I'm asking you to separate from your imagination so you can't use it. But something will happen, not because I say so, not as a result of suggestion of any kind, but because of the mechanism, because you are following my instructions. Be conscious of your hand, and your hand will glow warm. Now, Be aware of that warmth, realizing now that that is a sort of a goal. And every time your hand glows warm, glows warmer and warmer, it means it's a measure of the success of your ability to stay in the moment, being aware of your hand, not being lost in past and future. Isn't that simple now? Maybe not so simple, because your mind is powerful. It sucks you right back into its dream state. That's your problem. That's always been your problem. That's why you've never been able to solve problems. That is why you've never been able to solve problems, because you're fixated to your thoughts. You've never been able to give your attention to anything. You weren't free to give your attention. You're fixated. There's a certain amount of pleasure in being fixated. Do you see why? Because coming to the moment is where the truth is, and that's painful. So there will be a feeling of pain, a feeling like you want to run out of the room. Don't. Stay right where you are. A feeling of anxiety, it starts to overtake you. Don't run out of the room. Stay right where you are. Let it catch up with you. There's a sort of ache in your being that starts to appear, but the warmth will overcome it. Just being aware of your hand. Just be conscious of your right hand. And if your mind wanders off, well, then bring your mind back to your hand again and cause it thereby to glow warm. As long as you can live in the moment, being aware of the moment and being aware of your body, in this case, the part of your body is your hand, giving attention, paying attention to yourself, not being lost in thought, past or future, but living in the present. You're getting in contact with your body. You're getting in touch with your feelings. It is so simple, and I keep asking you to do the same thing over and over again. Your mind wanders off, then bring your attention back to the presence, the feeling of your hand, the warmth, and measure the success of your awareness of your hand, staying in the moment by the warmth, and it will glow warm, not by virtue of any suggestion, by the very fact that you learn to live in the moment where the truth is. And the truth is a light, and the light becomes heat, warmth. It translates itself through the stillness of your mind into your body and your hand. Now keep doing that. Now you can do something else. Slowly raise your right hand and bring your left hand and your right hand together in prayer-like fashion. Now, fingertips together with the palms about 1.5 inches apart. Just the fingertips touching lightly. Just be aware of both hands. And shift your attention from one finger to another. See, first of all your thumb. Be aware of your thumb, where they're touching. And then the first finger. Shift your attention to the first finger. And then to the second finger. Just shift your attention from one, just so that you can stay in the moment. And now feel the heat, the warmth. The idea is the same again, to feel the warmth, the light becoming warmth, flowing down your arms, into your hands. And as though you're looking through the middle of your forehead, if your mind wanders off into the thoughts, past and future, simply bring your attention back to the present moment, where your hands are, clasped in front of you, just actually touching lightly in front of you, with your hands touching lightly together, fingertips, with the heat passing from one hand to the other, from one palm to the other. Now just feel the warmth. You'll be aware of that hand, and you'll be aware of a brightness in your mind, and a warmth in your hand, a brightness in your mind, a warmth in your hand, a brightness as though you're looking through the middle of your forehead. And there are thoughts there, but when they come, don't suppress them. Let thoughts come.